day everyone, I am Major Daniela Belando from the Group 3 and I will be discussing to you my assigned topic, which is expository structures, its elements, linguistic signals, discourse patterns, and lexicon. So it is important to introduce to students the components of various texts through the school year. So the recognition and the use of the text organization are essential process underlying comprehension and retention. So as early as 3rd grade, students are expected to recognize expository text structure. Now we have expository. So what is expository? Expository is something intended to explain or describe. So an example of this is halimbawa is essay, which is intended to explain a series of events in an example of an expository essay. So reading expository text is critical for growth in reading ability and most urgent to rank. So normally achievers or those who are writing, so they have the ability to read, to comprehend, and to analyze. So expository texts are it is identifying the main idea, major ideas, supporting details, and could be a good criteria to rank students' academic reading achievement. So that is why we need to identify expository structures. And now let's proceed to the expository text structures. So what are the expository text structures? First is cause and effect. So it is ideas, events in time, or facts are presented as cause of the resulting effects or facts that happen as a result of an event. So when we say cause and effect, it can be very straightforward or it can be implicit or explicit in the students which is trying to comprehend the cause and effect. So example of this is the Tate table. Pag gagawa tayo ng halimbawa i-identify natin yung cause ng isang story, just like sa Cinderella, sa ano yung cause kung bakit naging mahirap si Cinderella. It's because his father died and married a stepmother and stepsisters who are wicked. And then during that ball, the fairy godmother gave her time to join that ball, but she forgot her sandal, and the effect is yung prinsipe yung nakakuha ng sandal, and he ordered to find out who that particular girl who owns that sandal from the ball in their village or in their palace. Ipa-identify kung sino yung babae for him to marry that girl. Number 2, compare and contrast. It is a information is presented by detailing how two or more events, concepts, theories, or things are alike and or different. Dito is, ang example natin dito is Venn diagram. Halimbawa is, you are going to compare and contrast what is history and what is literature. So sa Venn diagram, we have the differences of history and literature and their similarities. Another text structure is the description. Characteristics, features, attributes, and examples. So, sa description, the students will describe the topic, identify and explaining its characteristic, features, and attributes, kagaya ng sa biyag ni Lamang, as what you can remember. Sa biyag ni Lamang, bata pa lang siya, he is already described as malakas. He has already the talent and the power. Kumbaga, ilang months pa lang siya, nakakalakad na siya, 'di ba? So, to make the story detailed and very interesting, the description should be presented. Another is problem and solution. So, as a problem and one or more solutions to the problem is outlined. So, at this point, students will identify what was the problem and find the solution or identify the solution of two or more to the problem as described in the chapter or section. So, texts that are framed around the problem and its solution comes in all form. So, halimbawa, sa science, you have going to tackle about greenhouse effect. So, what was the problem that is experiencing of having greenhouse effect? And what was the solution that you must have to prevent greenhouse effect? And number 5 is the sequence. Items or events are listed in numerical or chronological sequence, either explicitly or implied. So, dito natin maipapakita yung procedures or step by step, just like baking a cake, or sa mathematics is mathematics formula, yung for example is Pythagorean theorem, and yung sa science is yung sa laboratory steps on how going to yung sa i-dissolve yung solid and liquid and gas, parang ganun siya. And mastering content-specific vocabulary, learning how to identify the main idea or summarizing the main idea of the text or interpreting the images and figures contained in the text, which are critically to comprehend the material. So, as early as 3rd grade, dapat na pala itong malaman ng mga estudyante for them to in the future grade level is they are already knowledgeable about, okay, ganito pala yung pagkaka-describe ng story. At least they have already the knowledge on how to identify the text structure. So now let's proceed to elements of expository writing. So what do you think are the elements, or what are the elements of expository writing? So, learning instructional and expository texts can be challenging, especially sa mga beginning, just like sa 3rd grade. Students have limited exposure in education. They have poor comprehension kasi beginning pa lang eh. So, providing students with direct instruction and as well as scaffolded instruction in the skills, they will increase comprehension, improve and recall of materials, prepare for note-taking, and aid in the development of research. So, dito pa lang is, as a teacher, you should be flexible on dealing with it since beginning pa lang eh. Huwag mo silang biglain, but dahan-dahanin mo lang yung pagka-explain sa kanila step by step. Now, let's have the elements of expository writing. So, number 1, ayan, it's a key. Organization is the key. So, magagawin natin dito is we are going to use the traffic light. So, use the colors of traffic light and informal outline to a plan, paragraph, essay, or report. So, may go signal tayo on how we are going to organize our essay, paragraph, or report. Number 2, topic sentence are the heart. So, use green to remember that topic sentence tell your reader what you are going to prove or explain. So, just like an essay, the topic sentence is called a thesis statement. Or, ano ba talaga yung point of view ng topic, the main topic, the theme. So, that is where sentence are the heart, or the topic sentence are the heart of expository writing. Number 3, yan. Transitions are the glue for the key or the star ideas. So, gagamitin natin dito is yellow to remind yourself to slow down and make smooth yet clear transition when a new case starts or new idea is introduced. So, halimbawa, huwag tayong dalos-dalos sa pagsulat because, for example, na nag-enter ka ng new idea, hindi mo pa na point out yung idea ng first example mo. So, parang malilito yung readers. Ano ba talaga yung pino-point out ng author na to? Hindi naman masyadong clear. So, you should use smooth and slow writing to have a clear transition with when you are going to introduce new ideas. Number 4, examples, evidences, and explanation are the myth. Sorry sa wrong typing. So, dito gagamitin natin is red to remind yourself to stop and explain explanations, evidences, and examples that will push you to elaborate your key or star ideas. So, dito na lalabas yung ano talaga yung laman, yung tatak ng writing mo. So, you should always remember that when you are going to give example, you should elaborate your example so that the readers will understand what you are trying to point out, what you are trying to explain, or to give emphasis in your writing. And number 5, conclusions tie it all together. So, dito, gagamitin natin yung green again. So, this will remind you to go back to your topic. So, because a good conclusion reminds your reader about the purpose of your paragraph or essay. Dito na mangyayari yung summarization of the topic. What are the important points? What are the recommendation that you wanted them to have, or that the morals that you wanted them to learn. Dito natin makikita sa conclusion. So now let's proceed to linguistic signals. So what are the linguistic signals? But first, let us define linguistic. Linguistic is the study of language. It is the subject matter of linguistic, which is language. And now we are going to talk about one of branch of linguistic, which is the microlinguistic. Microlinguistic is a linguistic that studies a language as a formal system consisting 4 main branches. So microlinguistic, it looks inward and focuses on the details of the language itself. So let's proceed to the stages or parts of microlinguistic. We have here first the phonology. It is the study of speech and sound in their pattern. So we have here the study or word-to-word relations in sentence, that is how sound patterns are affected by the combination of words. So dito is it focuses on the sound that we are experiencing when we are going to combine words. So phonology is a study of specific sound that make up words of speaking and listening. So it is how languages are organized by the units of speech system. So example is, ayan, sa my bracket is they have give, which is in word is give, yung pagka-spelling, pero yung pagka-pronounce is give. And him, na yung letter I is emphasizes. So, pag i-combine natin yung dalawa, give him, may combine to give him, give him, give him. So, that is the word of, or the work of phonology. Another is phonetics. So, phonetics is the sound system of language. So, kanina yung phonology natin is speaking. Ngayon, yung phonetics naman natin is the sound system of language. So, it has three branch or types. So, when we say phonetics, the physical properties of all human sound is there. It is present. It studies the characteristic of human sound, the production, especially those sounds in speech that provides methods for their halimbawa, description or classification and transcription. So, some parts or types of phonetics are articulatory phonetics. It is the study of how sound are produced with the articulators. The acoustic phonetics, the study of production of various articulation. And the auditory phonetics, the study of how listeners perceive linguistics, audition aspect, and understand design. So, ang example nito is, yung listener may perceive, halimbawa, yung word na, yung different na aspiration ng word na fit, yung PHIT, and which is fit yung pagka ano niya sa sound system, pero yung spelling niya is PIT, pit, pit. And yung sa tip, which is unaspirated by letter P, which is tipped. So, that's how phonetics work. The next one is morphology. When we say morphology, it is the study of words and word formation. So, morphology is a branch of grammar that studies the structure of forms of how words are formed. So, the morphology is also the study of morphemes and their different forms or allomorphs and the way they combine in word formation. So, example here is the English word unfriendly is formed from a friend and the adjective forming suffix "ly" and the negative prefix "un." That's why it is formed unfriendly. Just like in the example here, nakikita natin sa picture, we have colorful, kindness, slowly, fearless. So they are formed by adding suffix, by adding prefix. So that's how morphology works in linguistics. Another one is syntax. So when we say syntax, it is the study of sentence structure. How we are going to construct the sentence. Is the grammar correct? Is the word usage correct? Or it is aligned with what the idea you are talking to or what the idea you are giving of? So, syntax, it deals with a combination of units as words and meaningful elements are constructed. So, it involves description of rules, what do you call this? The description of rules about positioning the elements, in a sentence, and syntax is also concerned on the ways in which words combines to form a sentence and the rules which govern the formation of sentence making some sentences. So we have here an example. So the boy jumped happily. Another example. The boy happily jumped. And the last one. Happily, the boy jumped. So they have the same words in a sentence being used but differently constructed. So, by rearranging just one word in the sentence, a varied syntax is formed. So, may syntax yung sentence na example natin dito. Each is grammatically correct and acceptable in English language form. So, yung writer will vary on the sentence syntax to make the writing more interesting or to emphasize a particular point. So, the words and the phrase must follow English rules for correct arrangement and coherent of the sentence. So, dapat i-follow talaga natin when you are going to construct a sentence, you always remember the past tense, future tense, and present tense, which is a rule in making a sentence or constructing a word. Another, we have here semantics. So, semantics is the study of meaning. So, example, so the word destination and last stop technically mean the same thing, but students of semantics analyze their subtle shade of meaning. So, yung semantics pala is they are defining kahit parang figure of speech, halimbawa is dead end and the end of the road, which has the same meaning. Pero yung mga students will analyze on how they are going to use that word into their sentence because semantics deals with a level of meaning in the word or in language or investigate the meaning of language. So it is the study of all aspects of meaning in language. So there are many different approaches to the way in meaning how language is being studied. So there are different meaning pero may same sila ng meaning, which is for example nga yung dead end and end of the road. So that they have the same meaning, which is dying. Kumbaga that was the last end of that person or of that particular individual who died. So that is how semantics work. Another, we have here pragmatics. So, pragmatics is the study of the use of language and communication, particularly the relationship between sentences and the context and situation in which they are used. So, the term pragmatics was coined in the 1930s, if I'm not mistaken, by the philosopher C.W. Morris. Si Morris. Kilala niyo ba si Morris? So, pragmatics is context-dependent that deals with contextual aspect of meaning in a particular education or in which they are used. So, different arrangement of sentence differ in meaning according to the context. So, halimbawa, yung sentence mo is about love. May, i-add mo ba doon yung meaning ng pain? Meaning, yung sa context mo na love yung context mo. Pero yung ginawa mo is parang unusual na horror. So, your words does not coincide with the context that you have. So, pragmatics will appear since the use of or the sentence, the arrangement of the sentence differ in the meaning of the context. Just like when you are going to write a poem, So the context of the poem is love, then the content, the arrangement of the paragraphs will tell us about what is the context or the title is all about. So example here, Kate is about to go out of her house. So, na palabas na si Kate sa bahay niya. So, sinabi niya, now I've lost my keys. No, I haven't. Here they are. I mustn't forgot my keys. So, ano yun? Parang, the arrangement of the sentence is there from the context. Ang context natin is, Kate is about to go out of her house. And the arrangement of the sentence is yung naka-red. Now I've lost my keys. No, I haven't. Here they are. And I mustn't forget my keys. So that's how pragmatics works in the life of in writing skills. So from this example, we understand that it is important to Kate to take her keys. That's why sinabi niya, now I've lost my keys. And she is afraid that she might lose them or forget them because on a previous occasion, she has forgotten them. So these two ideas did not come from the individual words Kate has spoken. So they come from the particular combination of these words with our knowledge of the situation where they are used. So some words show many different pragmatic effects. So forget is one of these, and here we show several constructing use of forgetting language users. So either speaking or writers. So a phrase and this choice affect how they are understood. So that is why medyo medyo mahirap si pragmatics kasi the use of the sentence should correlate to the context that you have. But especially during the grade 3 level of teaching or introducing such a topic. And now let's proceed to the discourse patterns. When we say discourse patterns, they are a logical arrangement of ideas of an expository text or of an oral presentation for informational purpose that will vary depending on the culture and the native language of the writer or speaker. So that is, logic is not universal. So dito makikita natin is yung logical arrangement of ideas. Wait a minute. Lipat ko lang. Now we have here the ideas of discourse pattern. So, true message is given in the discourse pattern, not in words. So, yung message pala is, doon natin siya makikita sa discourse pattern, hindi sa word. So, let's find out what this discourse pattern that they mean. So, usually, it is first observed in the 4th grade and up to college. So, ayan. If I don't perceive that you care about me as a person, then I don't understand what you say to me even if I speak the language. So, know the language but don't use appropriate discourse pattern. So, makikita natin hindi na know yung language pero hindi na use ng appropriate yung discourse pattern. Because if I don't perceive that you care about me as a person, then I don't understand what you say to me even if I speak the language. So, yan yung dapat nating malaman and i-analyze para magamit natin yung proper discourse pattern. So, importance of discourse pattern to literacy. Now, we have here number 1. If one doesn't know the discourse pattern, one can't read for comprehension. So, it is effective begins in 4th grade. So, kung hindi alam ng isa kung ano yung discourse pattern, then hindi rin makaka-comprehend yung isa. Second is, if one doesn't know the discourse pattern, one can't write for comprehension. So, 'di ba? Ganun ka galing yung discourse pattern sa literacy. Kasi kung yung isa hindi marunong mag-discourse pattern, yun din yung isa na hindi marunong mag-comprehension when they are going to read. And if one person doesn't know the discourse pattern, and that person cannot also write for comprehension. So, that is the biggest part. Cannot read and cannot write if they do not know what is the discourse pattern. Now, we have to discuss the modes of discourse. Number 1, description. So, this is the first of the 4 traditional modes of discourse. The point of description is to paint verbal pictures and tell what things are like. So, this mode tends to rely on spatial order, top to bottom, left to right, bottom to top, but the item can describe based on the order of importance. So, depende yan siya kung paano mo siya from general to specific or you're from specific to general. Ganon yung role ng description. So, description is from the word description, describe. So, makikita natin dyan on how we are going to describe a thing, a place, an event, a situation. So, that is the mode of description or discourse. Number 2, narration. So, this is the second of the 4 modes of discourse. So, the point of narration is to tell a story. So, this mode relies mostly on chronology or time order or order of importance. So, mostly sa narration is makikita natin sa dramatization when there is a narrator and the narrator will tell the story tapos may mag-a-act dyan. And some of this as yung example ng narration is poem reciting, yung sa pag nagdi-DJ ka, magbabasa ka ng story ng mga nag-send sa'yo. So, that are some example of narration. Number 3 is exposition. When we say exposition, it is its own rhetorical mode and one of the 4 main modes of the discourse because it serves as an umbrella term for several modes including itself. So, exposition has many supporting and clarifying modes of discourse. We have here exemplification. When we say exemplification, it is also called illustration or illustrating because the writer uses examples to highlight or explain his or her point of view, the theme or the moral of that particular written article or story. Exemplification is most often used as part of other rhetorical mode because you are exemplifying or you are demonstrating or illustrating what was the topic all about, the context all about. That is exemplification. Another is the definition. So definition, it is based in explaining a term, a concept, an idea, and others, since obviously this definition is providing one sentence a definition that is enough for a whole paper, or one needs to provide examples. That is why sometimes this is more goes by the name of extended definition or classification. So, ang example nito is i-define natin. What is life? Life is everything. And you are going to define life by giving examples, by elaborating experiences. That's how definition works. So, division and classification. So, it is most likely a comparison or compare and contrast, except two or more items are examined. So, definition or classification is, dito natin di-divide yung the story, antagonist and protagonist, who are the main character, who is the antagonist, who is the friend, the supporting characters. So that is the division and classification. And lastly, process. So process explains how something is done. From the word itself, process, step by step, ano bang dapat gawin? Parang okay, let's start with this. Okay, let's start with a theme. What should be my theme in how I am going to write a story or an essay? So, at times, a whole essay can be written or explaining how something is done or accomplished. But in order to really flesh it out, it needs analysis, it needs critical thinking, it needs logical reasoning, which is why this mode is also called process analysis. So, there are writers that needs to extend the process, include by which there are, or what happens when they do and what they will write is important. So, dapat yung sa process mo is from introduction, body, and conclusion. For instance, halimbawa sa essay, dapat meron kang introduction, title, introduction, body, and conclusion. Number 3 is argumentation. So, do you have any idea what is argumentation? So, argumentation, this is the fourth of the traditional mode of discourse. So, the point of argumentation is to convince the reader with logic. So, dito na papasok si logic. Mapapaisip ka, oh my God, what does this story really go? What is the ending of this story? Just like sa mga novels. So, there is argumentation. Halimbawa, as a writer, na iniisip mo na, okay, so sa argument A, ganito. Tapos sa argument B, ganito. Parang, sa argument A, si antagonist, malditang-maldita pa. Pero when it comes to argument B, naging mabait si antagonist. And lastly, at this lesson, I am going to tackle is the lexicon. So, lexicon, a book containing an alphabetical arrangement of the words in a language and their definition. So, we have here dictionary. Sino ba yung human dictionary dyan na pag tinanong ka pa lang, what is the meaning of this? Makakasagot agad. Wow, you are gifted. Let's proceed. So, the total stock of morphemes in a language is present in the lexicon. So, Lexicon is a mental system contains all the information a person must know about words. So, meron tayong checklist dito. Knowing how word is pronounced, the grammatical patterns with which a word is used, the meaning or meanings of the word. So, itong checklist natin is present in the lexicon. So, linguistic uses the technical term lexicon instead of the everyday term dictionary. So, instead na dictionary, to make it more creative and to make it uh, 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 catchy, so instead na dictionary, they have this technical term lexicon. So, all the roots, morphemes, and all the derived stems, since their meanings is normally not entirely predictable, like farm, farmer, but farmers and farmers are not needed to be listed, since farmers are the singular form of farmer, and farmers are the plural form of farmers. So, hindi na yun siya ilalagay sa lexicon since it is already been identified as plural, singular, yun siya. So, irregular and fractional form of words such as the irregular forms of be, are, and is, since they can't predict form of morphology. So, wala siyang prediction kasi it is just a irregular form. Infectional forms lang sila, like hindi nila sasabihin na hindi sila nagpe-predict ng isang situation sa isang sentence. So, complex words like blackboard, strawberry, and penknife are also present in the lexicon. So, longer expressions such as kick the bucket, know by heart, and kill time, and so on are not present also in lexicon. So, all signs whose meaning is not predictable with a single morphemes, words, or combination of words are not that present in morpheme in the lexicon because they have sa lexicon kasi word by word talaga yung pagka-explain. Para lang din sa sa dictionary. So, the openness of lexicon. Number 1, the lexicon of language is not fixed and doesn't remain the way forever. So, lexicon can change quite rapidly. New words come into use and old ones lose popularity and eventually disappear. Just like sa Filipino, 'di ba? Ngayon may Tagalog na yung description din talaga siya pero hindi na yung malalim na Tagalog yung state. So as the world evolves, new words are formed and new words are being added while those yung mga nakalimutan na is tinatanggal. Now, another is number 2. Other factors can be relevant, including multilingualism. So, multilingualism, 1 or 2 more words. Number 3. Some changes are due to social and technological changes. New terms are required for new items and old words are forgotten as the items go out of the use. Like yung lodi, pet malu, it is already included in Filipino dictionary. So, instead of idol and malupet, ginawang lodi, pet malu. So, it is due to the influence of social media and technological changes. And lastly, grammatical morphemes of language changes over time. Although they are more stable than lexical morphemes over long periods of time, new grammatical morphemes are created, and often out of existing lexical items and old ones were out. So parang the new has come, the old has gone. So merong ganong rule ang lexicon. So I think that would be all. Thank you and God bless and keep safe everyone. I hope that you have learned that you have gained knowledge from the lesson that I have introduced to you. As a future teacher, you may use this uh, knowledge on how you are going to apply it to your students, especially those who are taking elementary education. Stay safe, everyone. God bless.